let's dive in. NFL Week 6 recap. We're going to go over every single game, starting out with Cardinals at Seahawks. Scotty, this was both of our best bets of the week. And can we say that we are 3-0 betting together on best picks of the week?
It feels weird, doesn't it? It feels a little weird.
Does someone need a hug? I need a hug for being a Broncos fan, for sure. That's true, Valor. Appreciate that. But, oh no, yeah.
He gave me a hug, Chris, not you.
Oh, my bad.
Okay.
Oh,
how dare you steal my hug? I need a hug. It's been a tough day.
This game was hard to watch if you're a Cardinals fan, and it was weird to watch. Did
anyone watch this game?
I watched it because it was on Red Zone, and I saw the highlights. When it came to all the big plays. But Geno Smith, I want to give both of you a hug.
Well, thank you, Valor.
Appreciate that, Valor. Thank you so much. You. I said we both need a hug for sure.
We do.
Cookie Mom.
We do.
But
we're Chiefs and Broncos fans. We need hugs.
The Cardinals fans need hugs too, because this one was tough to watch if you're a Kyler Murray. Now, realistically, Kyler Murray had an interesting start to the game. He had a big run right off the bat, and then he also had, a nice drive in the early parts of the game. And I was thinking to myself, maybe, just maybe, he can, wake up against a super bad Seahawks defense. The Seahawks have been giving up points left and right. And the Seahawks were able to keep and limit the Cardinals and this offense to 9 total points. And
not even.
And I mean, it's just like, from a Kyler Murray standpoint, this is a guy you paid a lot of money to, and 9 points isn't going to get it done. So Kyle Murray, whoopsies, I mispronounced. I guess that counts.
It is Kyler. It's tricky.
Speeds, we have 118. We're working our way up. We're still, thank you Speeds, appreciate it. Yeah, like, this game was tough to watch, but what's weird is, like, Geno is still looking good. Geno is playing pretty good football in the grand scheme of things. I mean, you have the Seahawks, who were left for dead, going into the season, and they've been competing, especially against, these teams in the NFC West, which the NFC West, you have the Rams not looking good. You have the Cardinals not looking good. You have the San Francisco 49ers lost today. I thought they were the second best team in the NFC, and they might be, but not today. The Seahawks are, like, keeping pace with some of these teams, and it's mind-boggling from an NFC standpoint. Like, I don't get it, Scotty.
I mean, it's pretty clear, Chris. They finally got a quarterback in Seattle. They finally got a quarterback.
Come on, man.
And now they're thriving. No, when you say the Cardinals scored 9 points, they actually, literally, their first drive of the game was a field goal, and the offense didn't score another point the rest of the game. They had a fumble return touchdown that got them to 9, and then I don't even know if they missed the extra point or was a failed 2-point. I think it was a missed extra point. But regardless, the offense literally put up a field goal in their first drive and didn't score again for Arizona against the Seattle defense that's been shredded by a bunch of teams.
Shredded by a lot of teams.
A lot of teams. Outside of Arizona and Denver, everyone else shredded them.
And even Denver could have put up those 2 goal line touchdowns. Would have been a bigger. I mean, they.
Yeah, let's play let's do the would have game.
I am going to do the what if game.
Let's do the would have. But I mean, yeah. Today, Geno Smith was fine. Actually, Geno Smith's line let him down. He got sacked 5 times, and that's what derailed Seattle's offense. Kenneth Walker, with his kind of like debut after the injury to Seattle's starting running back that I'm drawing a blank on last week. Kenneth Walker, the third that they drafted out of Michigan State, 21 carries, 97 yards, nice game. The Cardinals could not do anything offensively outside of, move the ball in between like the 30s and then just bog down and die. Now they get to, I think they're on Thursday.
Whoa.
I don't know if we should be excited about that. It might be another Thursday night awful game, because I think there might be a Call of Duty release in the next couple days, Chris. I heard about, which would ruin any chance. Like, bet hard on whoever I don't even know who they're playing, Chris. It does not matter. Does not matter.
Oh, the Cardinals? The Cardinals got the Saints.
Is that Thursday night?
Thursday, Thursday night, Saints.
Okay, so another Thursday night that literally Amazon should be reimbursed for, but we'll watch it. We'll watch it.
I just want to listen to Kyler. He explaining what went wrong in this one. So, Scotty, you won't have this sound, but the viewers will.
Yeah, play it.
Just get down to the red zone or past the 50. False start here, negative play here, and we just can't finish. Can't finish. That's the moral of the story right now. It's not finishing drives, not putting the ball in the end zone. Can't win like that.
Does this feel more about what you're seeing from the defenses or self-inflicted?
Not at all. Not at all. Self-inflicted for sure. I mean, they played well today. Obviously, holding us to 9 points, but the teams are going to continue to do that. Continue to play soft, make us methodically move the ball down there, which as you can see, I feel, like I said, we moved the ball today. We just got down there and didn't finish.
So he's pretty much saying they didn't finish, and it's not what the defense is doing. It's all on us. It's all what we're doing wrong. Mm-hmm. And let's. I mean, that's.
I mean, he didn't get any help. To be fair, in the run game, I think 2 running backs, 18 carries for like 44 yards. That's not great. But everything Kyler Murray does is like stat-wise to help him out, but like doesn't necessarily help the team out.
Yep.
Your offense scored 3 points today.
You do have...
Maybe start with yourself at that point. Now, I don't know if that's what you were about to say, but DeAndre Hopkins.
Yep. I was going to get to that.
Finally coming back. Suspension over. But to rebuke that, it looks like Hollywood Brown, their big offseason acquisition at wide receiver, got hurt today, Chris. So, and it looked bad. It doesn't look good. Like, I don't know. He won't be back soon, if at all. So, you're getting one to replace another. Is it an upgrade? Yeah, Hopkins is better than Hollywood Brown, but still, this offense and this team is just lost. Literally, Kingsbury should lose his job. He should have never had a job, Chris.
It's looking worse and worse for Cliff. And then, I mean, you gotta infuse something. If DeAndre Hopkins comes back and they look like this still, then you got to make some changes at the top when it comes to the coaching staff or something, because like this team has too much talent on this roster for them to be only scoring 9 points against a bad Seahawks team who just gives up points just as charity. So that's not a good look for the Cardinals. Can't finish. Isn't that why what Kyler's girlfriend said? Hi-oh.
He has a girlfriend?
I don't know. Let's see. What else do we have? I have sucked the last 2 weeks, and let's see. Bring in Robbie. Bring in Robbie Anderson. We're gonna get to some Robbie Anderson drama. Yeah, he's about to be available very, very soon. Too bad he's worth 150 million guaranteed, says McDuggets. What's up, Duggets? How we doing, buddy? Double XP COD per Hauser. There you go. Speeds was talking about Penny. There you go, Penny. Earlier on.
Or Rashad Penny. Yeah.
Rashad Penny. Let's see. It was a missed extra points. Matt Amendola. NFC West.
It sounds about right with Matt Amendola. I'm very familiar with that idiot that cost the Chiefs a win in Indy.
NFC West should have been the second best division in football, and it's been the shits, says Spees. Yeah, it's not been as same thing. Like the AFC and NFC West both were super hyped going into the season, and it's just there's just.
I mean, the NFC East we thought might be one of the worst divisions, and is it the best?
It could be the best.
Is it the best right now?
It could be. I mean
I bet record-wise it is. You got undefeated Eagles, Cowboys, and Giants that are killing it.
Speaking of,
Washington that exists. So
Kingsbury has oatmeal for brains, says Joker. Robbie should have stayed. Robbie, yeah.
That's one of my favorite comments. Football. Robbie should have stayed. Robbie. I can't agree more. And What are you doing announcing I'm changing the spelling of my name? Chris, I'm already mad at people that change their name in general, but changing the spelling might be worse.
It's
like Darius Leonard for the Colts. I told you in the offseason when he tried to change his name to Shaq Leonard, I'm like, nope, I'm calling you Darius.
Yeah.
You can't just change your name to Shaq. Okay. I don't even know what the situation is there. I don't care. Your name's Darius, and now your name is out of the lineup.
Yeah, now it's done. So here we go. The Giants in a big shocker take down the Ravens. They improved to 5-1 after the 24-20 win over the Baltimore Ravens for the first time since 2009. That's tied for their best record through 6 games in the last 30 seasons. Which, I mean, Daniel Jones turning this team around, or is it Saquon, or is it the coaching staff that's new? Is it a little bit of everything? But realistically, this Giants team is not where any of us expected them to be this far into the season. And you talked about this division being some of the better teams in the NFL at the moment, record-wise. Scotty, this game was crazy. This came down to the wire, and Giants pull out a victory at home here, 24-20 over the Ravens.
Yeah, this one looked like the Ravens looked to, I mean, it was always close. It was 10-7 Baltimore at half. They extended to a 20-10 lead in the second half before the Giants score a touchdown, and then Lamar makes like one of the single worst decisions I've ever seen with an awful interception that sets up the Giants with the situation where they score a touchdown to win the game. And then listen, Saquon's one of the big plays of this one for fantasy lovers. Saquon had a free run at a touchdown at the end of the game and made the smart decision. And he's on at least one of my teams, if not 2 of my 3 teams, Chris. I'm trying to remember. He slid down to run some clock, made the right call when Baltimore was basically giving him a touchdown. What do you take from this game? I don't know. Lamar looks like this offense that was humming through like the first few weeks seems to be slowing down a little bit for Baltimore. Teams are game planning a little better. If you're the Giants, the run game's still working decently well. You're not going to ever be explosive offensively. You need your defense to keep you in games. You probably need turnovers because they lost the yardage battle on this one, 406 to 238, Chris. So it wasn't appreciably close yardage-wise, but they were in this game throughout. They held Lamar in check. Actually, the person they couldn't stop was ironically Kenyon Drake, who ran all over them for like 10 carries, 100-plus yards, I think, for Baltimore, which is insane. But to be fair, like the Giants, we put this on Daniel Jones. He also has no one to throw the ball to right now, Chris. Like, who's healthy and good in the wide receiver core for the Giants?
No. Yeah.
Like, the fact that they're winning games right now, you must feel great about as a Giants fan with a new head coach and Brian DeBall who's winning games when, quite frankly, this roster isn't set up to win, especially with who's healthy, a ton of games right now. This roster isn't great. So you must feel great about your head coach and where you're at, and who knows what happens moving forward, but you should be ecstatic about it if you're a Giants fan.
Well,
right? G-Girl?
Yeah, G-Girl, Giants are not frauds, says Chairman, at Chairman. I feel like we all keep feeling like the Giants are a fraud, or me at least, and they keep going out there every week and proving doubters wrong. And, I just think I think the Giants are playing smart football right now. Like the coaching staff and the game plans they're putting together, they're just playing smart football and it's paying off for them. And on the other side, the Ravens, I'm concerned they can't hold on to games at the end when it matters. They've given up some games down the stretch in the third and fourth quarters that they shouldn't be giving up. And I'm worried that they're just choke artists and no lead is safe. So when other teams are game planning for the Baltimore Ravens and the Ravens get out to a fast lead in the first half, three quarters, teams are like, oh no, they keep giving up games. We still have a shot at this. So let's just say Yeah, let's just say that's going to be something to think about for the Ravens, especially. We already know they choke games in the playoffs, but regular season games is a different story.
Yeah. Catching up on the chat, people trying to put Football Wife to bed again, and Devil Dog points out she's off tomorrow, and Football Wife's like, always trying to get rid of me. What the fuck? And that's my question. Why are we always trying to get rid of Football Wife?
What is this?
She's one of our favorites, so as long as she wants to stay, she's welcome. And how dare you people?
Yeah,
how dare you?
You don't have to go anywhere, Football Wife. We got you. Ravens and Packers have been choking, says Chop. Yeah, no, it's fair. It's a fair criticism. Realistically,
I mean, the Packers just suck.
What else do we have?
The Ravens have choked. The Packers suck.
Tired of the Giants. LOL. We've been terrible for the last 10 years. 10 years. Yeah. So crazy game here. Those are kind of our big takeaways. Now the Giants and the Ravens. Let's see who they got. Ravens host AFC North rival Cleveland next Sunday. So that's probably a get right game for the Ravens. I mean, if there's one team that they can, I think that's actually be a closer game than people think too. I don't even know what the spread is, but I mean, I think that could be a close game. And then Giants are at Jacksonville next Sunday. So Giants, another winnable game against Jacksonville, who has looked improved, but I mean, I kind of like the way the Giants are pounding the rock with Saquon. So
I'll actually bet Jacksonville likely in that game.
Ooh,
no offense, but
well, I got to look at that line. We got to look at our best bets, because those we'll review those at the end here. By the way, guys, if you're still here, my name is Chris. This is Scott. We're your host for the Action Lab, your premier sports and entertainment talk show on Twitch. Make sure you hit that follow button if you have not already. We are here live every Wednesday and Sunday. Let's see. All right, next up.
Devil Dog, real quick. I'm sorry. I did forget to mention you talking about Steelers. I'm sorry. It's my fault. And now the blasphemy. That's not what I intended. It's just like she said. I just repeated things that occurred in the chat recently. My bad earlier. I didn't forget you, Devil Dog. You know I love you.
I know, Scotty, just messing. See, there we go. Let's go into the Bills.
Let's move on. This game doesn't even matter. These teams are garbage.
These teams are trash teams. We're not even going to get into this one. No,
garbage.
We will get into this one because the Bills and the Chiefs is the setup for the most likely, potentially AFC championship here, with these two top teams in the AFC battling it out here. We talked a lot about this one on Wednesday about, man, this could go either way. This could easily be I said it on Wednesday. This is Josh Allen's Super Bowl in the regular season, because he of how the season ended last year with the Chiefs, and you know what this means going into KC. So the Bills, Josh Allen want this, but then the Chiefs were get 3-point underdogs at home, which is ridiculous, first of all. And it made for just an intense matchup. So the Chiefs fall to the Bills today, 24-20, losing at home in the regular season for the first time since 2021, week 5, versus the Bills and Josh Allen. Allen was the first starting quarterback to beat Patrick Mahomes twice at Arrowhead Stadium. So that is some history. He also recorded his 12th career game with 300 pass yards and 3 passing touchdowns, tying Jim Kelly for the most in Bills history. So he's making history on all sorts of different levels here in this game. But this was a hell of a game, though. This came down to, the last, quarter, when it came to, a big interception that sealed the game for the Bills on that last play for Kansas City, trying to make a drive to win this game, and they just fell short. Scotty, there's a lot of people in the chat throwing out different thoughts on this game already earlier on. We're going to get some more, I guarantee it. But Scott, what were your thoughts watching this game? You told me yesterday already, but I'll throw that out there. This is before the stream, before we got ready for this show, before this game. Scott,
I told you this was going to be an entertaining game. Of course, I'd like to win it, but ultimately it's kind of meaningless. This game doesn't matter in the grand scheme, because I think these teams will play again in the playoffs. Now, maybe you could argue home field or whatever matters. I, as a Chiefs fan, have actually experienced at times the Chiefs play better actually on the road. Everyone thinks of Arrowhead as a huge home field, and it is because the crowd is insane. But I think the players sometimes, I don't know what it is, but they seem to perform better on the road. Regardless of that, would I have wanted the Chiefs to win today? Of course. Did they lose? Yes. This game was kind of back and forth. It was slow going to start, but you look at the stats. Chris, let me ask you a question. Which team has the better defense between the Bills and the Chiefs?
The Bills, as advertised, should be the better defense in this matchup.
Okay. Who has the better weapons on offense, do you think?
So that's kind of a tricky one because I would say from a star standpoint, from a playmaking standpoint, you got to say the Bills. They have Diggs, and they have
Gabriel
Davis, who
Dawson Knox is pretty good.
Yeah. I would say, but with that,
no. Broncos, I said this game doesn't matter because I said this yesterday, and it's because they're gonna meet again. They're gonna meet again. So listen, the Chiefs lost to the Bills at home in the regular season last year by a far larger margin than this one. What I would argue is, Mahomes has a new wide receiving core that's they're gonna build rapport as the season goes on. It's the same offense with Josh Allen in Buffalo, same players returning. The defense for KC was missing like 4 starters. Buffalo, I understand, was missing, White, who's gonna be back. Yeah, so whatever. But ultimately, this game could have gone either way. Buffalo won it. Not saying they didn't deserve to win it. Both quarterbacks did what we thought they'd do. Mahomes threw for 338, Allen for 329. I mean, they were balling out there. I mean, the biggest difference for me, what the Chiefs need to do and address prior to the trade deadline, and they have 12 draft picks next year, Chris, is they have to get a pass rusher. They have to get someone that can literally, they cannot get pressure when they bring 4 unless Chris Jones breaks through. Everyone else is might as well be invisible. Frank Clark, invisible. Their rookie that they got, Karlaftis, has been invisible. Doesn't have a sack yet on the season. Their pass rush is the single biggest issue. They were missing a ton of their secondary this week. I think the secondary will be better. They're missing their best linebacker and Willie Gay. I think that'll help, especially in the pass game. He's their best pass, sideline to sideline guy. But ultimately, this game was close. Could have gone either way. Bills won. Neat. Maybe we'll have to go to Buffalo for the playoffs. I don't care. These teams will meet again in the playoffs, and that's when I'll care. I don't know. This will sound arrogant, Chris, and I never thought I'd be here as a Chiefs fan, but I don't live or die with the results in the regular season. If they lose a game, I'm actually more upset with the loss against the Colts than I am this one, by far. They lost today.
That's a bad loss
to a good team. I know we're going to be in the playoffs, and we've made the AFC Championship at least 4 straight years. I don't doubt us in the playoffs to be competitive and be right there.
So let's see. Let's get to the chat here real quick. Rooting for Eagles Bills Super Bowl. That'll be epic, says Devil Doc Balls. Let's see what else. Top of the evening to you. Cuban. What's up, Cuban? Cooper Fredette? Hype. We were actually saying it's more, the Linsanity almost, like Cooper, Cooper Rush Sanity or whatever. Yeah. So crazy. McKenzie, if he can hang on to the ball, he's better than when he's been performing. He hasn't been doing that bad. So yeah, he hasn't been.
Isaiah McKenzie did not have a good game for the Bills today.
Bronco says, okay, thanks. Do you say the same thing if the Chiefs won? That this doesn't matter?
That was my point. I said it yesterday to Chris.
Yep.
Before the game even occurred. I said,
if the
Chiefs win, it doesn't matter. If the Bills win, it doesn't matter. It's going to be a fun game to watch. And of course, I want to win it. But ultimately it doesn't matter because these teams are both going to be there in the playoffs.
Devil Duck has a Scotty trivia question for you.
Okay.
Who has the higher QBR, Mahomes or Allen? And for a bonus, Cookie, who is number 3?
Oh, this is going to be stupid. I bet it's Allen that has the higher QBR, which neat. And I bet 3 is like Kenny Pickett, something stupid like that. Chris,
Is it? It might be. I don't know. All right.
Dressed up as a screwdriver this past Halloween. It wasn't the best costume, but I still turned a lot of heads.
Turning those heads, P3. What's up, P3? Thank you for the biddies and all the jokes as always. You are amazing. Thank you so much. 75.6 for Allen, 74.2 for Mahomes, and third is Geno Smith. 68.6. There you go. So
what I will say is Geno Smith can't breathe a breath of fresh air that even touches who Allen and Mahomes are. Mahomes is the best I've ever seen in football at extending plays and knowing the line of scrimmage and doing all that and arm angles and all of those things. Allen doesn't necessarily, like, when he breaks the pocket, he's probably more often than not looking to run, but he's fast, he's huge.
I mean, did you see that?
Like, he can do it. Like, he hurdles.
Yeah,
he hurdles. So they're different in that regard. I would slightly lean Mahomes because it's a bigger play, but Allen's so good. Like, listen, if those are the top 2 QBs in the league, no one else should even be mentioned. And if you want to pick one or the other, that's fine with me. I'll take Mahomes, probably because I'm a homer, maybe. But honestly, I believe that.
Now, one thing that Chiefs will need to do is guard Von Miller next time they play, because he had 2 sacks in this one, giving him 16 in 19 games against Kansas City. So that dates back to Denver days. That dates
first win against Mahomes for him.
Yeah. He got a first win.
Never beat Mahomes until today.
But he's got a lot of sacks on him, so you got to figure out how to protect him from.
No, he didn't until today.
Well, no, wins, but sacks. I'm just saying sacks.
No, I also said he didn't because actually this week, Mitchell Schwartz, our old right tackle, Von Miller went on record this week saying he was the most difficult matchup he's ever faced in his career was Mitchell Schwartz. And Von Miller historically literally did nothing against the Chiefs when Schwartz was there. But now he's not there, so... Von Miller, I'd say he played well today. One of the sacks was on Mahomes, though. It was Mahomes' fault. Like, he had plenty of time to throw and just didn't get rid of it.
Bills tried to go for it on that 4th down of the game. They do have a... Do they have a kicker on the roster? Casey is dang lucky to have Harry Butker back.
Butker missed one after making a huge one, but no, that's what teams do against KC all the time. They go for it on 4th down because they feel like they have to be aggressive. It's super weird, Chris. Like, everyone points out when a team misses on a 4th down against the Chiefs, and it's like, well, if they would have just kicked the field goal. But then when they get it on 4th down and score a touchdown, you never hear about it. Last year in the playoff game, the Bills were 4 for 4 on 4th down against the Chiefs. So, yeah, we don't have to spend much more on this game.
Yeah.
It was a good game. It was close. It was somewhat, it was entertaining. The offenses moved the ball. Don't get me wrong. There was a ton of offense, despite the score being a little lower scoring than we thought. But, yeah.
I think this game, I was trying to put myself in like a bubble of this. Would this qualify as a solid playoff game for these two teams? And yeah, I mean, it was as good as advertised. It was a good game. Came down back and forth, mistakes on both sides, really big plays on both sides. So, this is only a preview of what we're going to be getting soon. Sorry I left you guys. I'm dealing with a person because I'm wearing a sparkly gold dress. So I told you about, he's making a big fuss wearing it because I'm a mama. Hey, I love it. Hey, like I said, enjoy all of that stuff. It's fine. I'm glad you're here, though. Glad you're here with us doing multitasking, right? You're a Mahomer, says Reckoning. Let's see.
What I will say real quick, when you're comparing these two quarterbacks, the Chiefs scored 20 against the Bills today, which matches the most points the Bills have given up in a game this season. They've not given up more than 20 points in a game all year. The Chiefs defense has given up 20 or more in every game this year. Their lowest point total was at 20. And every other game they've given them more than 20. So when we're talking about who's the better quarterback and this and that, let's keep in mind Josh Allen has the way better defense right now. It's the better defense.
Gaming with Goose, welcome in. First time chatter. Let's give Gaming with Goose a nice warm ActionLab welcome. Hope you're doing well, Gaming. And it sounds like Eagles 6-0, baby. So it's that we got another Eagles fan in the chat. Let's go. Big win for them tonight against Dallas on Sunday Night Football. And it was a good win against a quality Dallas team. We already talked about Cooper Rush and Dak and that whole thing, but a big win. How did the refs not call the block in the back on Pollock?
Refs are bad. And then, that's what we
and Broncos asked too. What is the ref missed that tripping call on Allen? He was standing 5 feet away. That was the tripping call. I think Chris Jones. Was it Chris Jones?
If you really want to get into calls in that game, that was a trip on Chris Jones. The ref was probably terrified to call a penalty on Chris Jones because he's been screwed in 2 other games. And like that pass interference on Kelsey was embarrassingly bad. And quite frankly, the Gabe Davis touchdown at the end of the half was more of a pass interference than Kelsey's.
Game, Brady can at least go home to his supermodel weight.
yeah, you can't go home to that supermodel wife no more.
Am I the only one that thinks Brady's better off?
You might. Maybe that's a hot take. But
I don't even think that's that hot of a take. Hey, am I crazy? I don't think Giselle. I don't know. I don't think Giselle's that good looking, and she seems like she's just. I don't know. She seems angry all the time.
Same page again, Scotty. Thank you,
He's
Rex,
better off. I mean, Brady can pull whatever he wants, probably, to put it mildly.
Everyone's agreeing with Scotty in the chat on this. Yeah. Everyone's blowing up. Hey, you might be onto something, Scotty. Brady looks like a... Come on, Chop. Use condom there. Maybe. I don't know. He still looks really good for his age. Let's just put it that way. Let's see. Being a mom does not define you. Be you. Cooking mom. Yeah, you're right, Diaco. It's 100% on point. Let's go.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm Biscotti on Giselle. Yeah, see, we're all on the same page. So let's dive into Bengals and Saints.
Apparently, my sports takes no one agrees with, but everyone agrees with my takes outside of sports.
Everything else, yeah. So, there's that.
Got it.
All right, let's dive into Saints and Bengals. Now, the Bengals end up getting a close one here. This game was back and forth. This came down to, when I mentioned that there's a lot of games this afternoon that came down to the wire, this was one of them because this was like back and forth. And there were points where I saw, the Bengals were down early on in this one. Then all of a sudden they took the lead. And it was 7-7 after one. Then New Orleans put up 13 in the second quarter and just, looked like, man, like what's going on with the Bengals? But then the Bengals come out in the second half and outscore the New Orleans Saints in the third quarter and the fourth quarter because New Orleans could only put up 6 total points in the second half. So it was just a kind of a roller coaster of a game between the Saints coming out fast and slowing down and the opposite happening for Cincinnati. But, the offense finally stalled for New Orleans. They had Andy Dalton. Man, can they just decide on somebody? Andy Dalton came in 162 yards, 1 touchdown. In this one, 17 for 32. Joe Burrow, 3 touchdowns, 300 yards. But this game was kind of ugly for Cincinnati, given the fact that they put up 30 and it was kind of a slow back and forth game. But it was exciting down the stretch. That's for sure.
Yeah, this felt most of the game, the Saints were leading in this one. I'm sure, Football Wife, you were panicked a little bit, but huge Burrow to Chase 60-yard touchdown on, I believe, a failed tackle from the Honey Badger, which doesn't surprise me at all. I've told people that that man does not like to tackle, but huge win. Both these teams were sitting at like 2-3, I think, Chris, and needed a win. Can't go to 2-4. Bengals get to 500 in a far more competitive AFC than NFC. When they needed to have it, was it pretty? If you're a Bengals fan, are you feeling like you're like back on the road to like where you were at the end of the year last year? No, but there's a ton of weeks left to figure that out. And a win is a win. They grinded, got the W in the end, so got a huge stop, got the big play to take the lead, and then got a big 4th down stop to turn the Saints over on downs at the end of the game. So defense stepped up, offense stepped up in the 4th quarter. We'll not think too hard about those 3 quarters that started Football Wife, because it wasn't a picturesque show if you're the Bengals, who quite frankly should be dominating Andy Dalton led Saints, in my opinion.
If you're the Saints, like if I'm a Saints fan, you know how frustrated I am that nobody can stay healthy on my team and I can't figure out the quarterback situation. So look, I mean, if you think about it, Michael Thomas hasn't played in like 2 years. He's still not playing. Jarvis Landry can't stay healthy. And Chris Olave had a concussion. I mean, that's a one-off because he's been, good as a rookie. So, I mean, that's a one-off. But you can't keep anybody healthy on this roster. Like, what's going on? And then, you have the mix-up. I mean, Andy Dalton's 1 and 2. He's the same as Jameis Winston. They've had, Taysom Hill has been in the mix. This is the most confusing and, frustrating. Like, I would be so frustrated as a Saints fan to be like, can we just get everything all together on the field at once with some consistency, please? Because, their defense has been touted as being one of the best in the league. It's been giving up some points, so we can't say that anymore. But they just haven't been healthy. It's like, man.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine? They were literally without their top 3 wide receivers and their starting quarterback, almost won this game.
If I had $1 for every time the announcer said, and this is their 3rd string receiver getting this one, this is their 2nd string receiver, their 4th string receiver, I mean, I would have at least $20 in my pocket with all of those no
and
names.
Landry's whatever. Michael Thomas played the first couple weeks, played well, and Olave's been, absolutely phenomenal as a rookie. Like, Olave is going to be legit moving forward for the Saints. So they hit a home run there.
Rookie wide receivers in this division. I mean, between London and Olave, you got some nice, promising guys. That
Garrett Wilson. I know that's not in this. That I'm just talking about rookie wideouts, but Garrett Wilson's going to be nice.
In general, yeah.
I wasn't a Garrett Wilson guy. I was wrong on that one. He's going to be nice.
Yeah. So crazy game. Bengals end up winning this one again, 30-26. Bengals have Falcons next week, so that'll be an interesting one. Falcons, big win today.
Not an easy out.
Not an easy out with the Falcons. Falcons will put up points. They won't stop a lot of people, but they'll put up a lot of points. And then the Saints play, as we mentioned earlier, the Cardinals at Arizona. So that should be
Thursday night football.
Thursday night football, short week. So there's not enough time for Kyler to study that for that game. There's no shot.
And we're probably, I don't know if we're getting any of the wide receivers back in New Orleans on a short week. So
we're not
expect another barn burner. Son of a.
Thursday night football might. I mean, can you imagine the crew?
I mean, the Chiefs Chargers game was decent. Outside of that, I'm trying to think. They've all been bad, right? Like really, really bad.
Most of them have been bad. We had the one blowout, but the rest have been just like shit games. It's bad. So, Jags Colts, another game here that AFC South battle that I honestly wasn't sure what to expect of this one. I didn't think this was going to be as good of a game as it was, and it was better, but it was, again, this is similar to what we saw in the last matchup with the Bengals and the Saints, where it was just kind of all over the map. I mean, Jacksonville came out. I mean, this game was 7-0 after the first quarter. Jacksonville leading. I thought Jacksonville was, I picked Jacksonville to win this one, and they were in control of this game, I felt, for a lot of it. I mean, they scored a touchdown in each of the first 3 quarters, and then only just didn't have the the defensive presence enough to give, Matt Ryan enough trouble. He ended up throwing 42 of 58 for 389 yards and 3 touchdowns. Matt Ryan, who this Colts team wasn't able to put up anything over the course of the season so far. And I'm looking up at the Colts and I see their record is 3-2-1. And I'm like, how? Like with this roster and with this team, how? And Jacksonville is a team that we thought was going to be one of the best. I mean, they're probably one of the stronger teams in this division, if not the best. And Trevor Lawrence, 2 touchdowns on the ground, threw for 165 throwing. Travis Etienne had a decent game in this one, but the Colts come back. They score 15 in the fourth quarter to win this one, 34-27 in this division battle.
Yeah. This was a fun game, actually, to watch. I was watching Red Zone in the morning. They showed a lot of this game because it was back and forth. Matt Ryan, with his 389, led the NFL this week in passing yards. Mahomes was number 2, but doesn't matter. I mean, Chris, imagine trying to bet on the NFL. These teams played a couple weeks ago, and the Colts literally scored 0 points in the game. 0. And now you have Matt Ryan throwing for 389 and 3 touch without their best running back, who was the offensive player of the year like last year, and Jonathan Taylor, the great sensation. Like, you don't have that guy, and now you put up 34 against the same roster 2 weeks later. Like, help me out, Chris. How does this happen? Like, how can you put up 0 and then 2 weeks later with your best offensive player put up 34? I mean, Jacksonville, it was back and forth. They took the lead late, like 2 minutes ago. Colts then in field goal, kind of like deep field goal range, and threw a deep one that was caught for a touchdown late. But like, how can you give up 0 and then 34 to a lesser offense 2 weeks later? This is why it's so difficult to bet in football, Chris. This is why everyone's out of Survivor League after like 6 weeks. It's true. Because no one knows what the hell's happening week to week, because these teams don't know what's happening week to week. They don't even know what they're doing week to week.
Roger.
Yeah. Deion Jackson and Michael Pittman Jr. both had 8 receptions in the first half. Last pair of teammates to have 8+ receptions in the first half of the same game was Julio Jones and Tony Gonzalez in week 5 of the 2012 against Washington. Also, Matt Ryan was the quarterback for both duos. So, just little fun tidbits of stats and information there.
I will say Matt Ryan led the league in receiving or passing yards this week, but that was with 58 attempts, as you mentioned, Chris.
I mean,
58 attempts, and he's old, so I would probably bet against the Colts next week because his arm won't function.
He's going to be on ice for his arm for the next month after that performance there. 42 of 58. Crazy.
58 attempts is not ideal.
Next up, we got Vikings-Dolphins. Vikings and Dolphins here. This one was so confusing, man. So we started out this one with Skyler putting the pads on and starting this game, and then all of a sudden, Skylar Thompson gets a little injured. He after 13 attempts, he's 7 for 13, 89 yards. Teddy Bridgewater gets cleared the last 24 hours. Comes in and plays 329 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions in this one. But I mean, there was just so much going on in this one for Miami. We were talking about consistency for like the New Orleans Saints. Miami needs a little bit of that from a quarterback position. Now, Tua did get cleared as well, but they held him out. So he will start next week. So that, they'll have that back. Hopefully he's not he doesn't get any more concussions this year, because he's had his fair share in a short period of time. But moving forward, Miami will have that. And that was the quarterback that got him to that fast start. Now they've been back and forth between some backup and third string quarterbacks. We'll see if that's going to be the elixir to get them back on the positive side here, above 500 going into this next matchup. But Kirk Cousins didn't exactly have a barn burner of a game, only 175 yards on 20 of 30 throwing, and then 2 touchdowns. So Dalvin Cook had one explosive run. Like, you look at the running game didn't really get going. That was on one big 53-yarder. Outside of that one, he only had about 20 yards or so rushing. So this was a slow go for the Vikings. I mean, they didn't score in the first quarter, didn't score in the third quarter. You know, this Minnesota Vikings team, they're winning games. They have their weeks where they kind of look a little bit slower than you would expect them to, but they still find ways to win. Defense played well to hold Miami down, but they should with a, backup and a third string quarterback.
Yeah. I don't know if you come away, and I know we have some Minnesota fans in here, or maybe they've left, but feeling great about Minnesota this week. I know they're 5-1. You should be thrilled about that. Minnesota had 10 drives. I'm counting again, Chris, because I want to make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 drives in this game that were 3 and outs, Chris. That's like historically epically bad on offense. Like, to have 10 drives in a game, usually you only get like 11 or 12 drives in a game in general. And to have 10 be 3 and outs is so bad. Fortunately, they were facing a team that like couldn't figure out an offense, but this game was 16-10 late, and Bridgewater found who's the Alabama quick wide receiver?
Waddle?
Jalen Waddle. Yeah, Jalen Waddle over the middle was going to be a first down at the Minnesota 25-yard line. He fumbles at the end of the play. Recovered. So instead of down 6, Miami driving late in the game, instead of that, Minnesota gets the fumble, recovers. Dalvin Cook runs for like a 60-yard touchdown or whatever it was. And then after that, Miami throws a pick. Minnesota punts anyway. Miami does score a touchdown and then doesn't get an onside kick. So too little too late. But Minnesota was fortunate to win this game, Chris. They were not impressive. They were not, especially offensively. They looked like literally they had some some nice plays to Jefferson. No one else on the field. Dalvin Cook ran the ball well when you look at his stats, but literally you take away the 53-yard run, he was 12 carries for 24 yards. So he's 2 yards a carry. Jefferson had a nice game with 107 yards, but no one else had more than 36 on offense for them. Tyreek Hill, 12 catches, 177 yards. But he's losing, Chris. So I like that portion of it.
One takeaway for me for the Minnesota Vikings is, with all the high standards that we have, with all the talent they have, offensively, defensively, I kind of feel like they're somewhat underachieving with the expectations of what they should be doing with everything that they've put together on this offense and this defense. Salty. I mean, I don't know if that's salty. I'm just,
Oh, no, he's talking about me with Tyreek Hill.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
I just think that, low key, Vikings are underachieving to what I think they should be doing. I just the feel of the Vikings, they should be in better situations offensively and defensively. So there you go.
They're 5-1. Be thrilled about that.
True.
They just don't look like a 5-1 team.
No, they're not as dominant as a 5-1 team should look, right? So, I mean, they're not in the same. They're probably above the category of the Giants, right? Like the Giants, we know 5-1. They've been winning games. I'd say the Vikings are kind of slightly above.
I'd say the roster is above that. I don't know if watching the games. Watching the games, they're probably pretty similar.
True. Yeah. I mean, the way they're winning and the way they're. I mean, even though they're. Yeah. I just love Bill. Love Bill. I mean, they did get a win today, so he's not as stressed. And Bill Belichick.
Yeah, he has the same look regardless, Chris. It doesn't matter.
With the Patriots win over the Browns today, Mr. Bill Belichick gets his 324th career win. He ties George Halas for the second in head coaching wins all time, including the playoffs. So he is getting up there with the greats of the game. And sure enough, you know, I mean, he's a legendary coach. Let's just put it like it is. Is it, is it kind of on the downslide? Sure, it is. But with that being said, the Patriots got a win over the Browns today. The Browns looked absolutely awful today. And I just, the Browns are going to brown, and they're going to have big games when the matchups look and like last week with the Chargers, they just had a good matchup against a team that can't stop the run. But the Patriots present a little bit different of a challenge for them. And sure enough, 38-15, this game just got out of hand as the game went on. You had some mistakes from the Browns, interceptions, and just drives that just didn't amount to much of anything. So in the end, Patriots get a little bit better here record-wise.
I mean, this the big storyline here, Chris, and people have touched on in the chat. Bailey Zapparoo. We've made fun of the controversy in Dallas. I think there should be a real controversy in New England. Ooh. I think Zapp's played really well. Mac Jones turns the ball over too much. He's not been nearly as impressive as Zapp in the games so far this season. When Mac Jones is healthy, which could be this week, theoretically, it sounds like. What happens? I said Zappy as a joke. Is it Zappy? I don't even know what it is anymore. I don't care. I'm going to call him Bailey. Bailey's better than Mac, in my opinion. This year he's played better than Mac. And Mac has some issues. It's Zappy. Whatever. I called him Zappy as well.
Roger.
I mean, it's a stupid last name, but also kind of cool.
Is Mac Jones the next Drew Bledsoe in New England?
No, because Drew Bledsoe actually achieved something, Chris.
And then he lost his job. Be back. And then he lost his job. So Zappy put up 309 yards, 2 touchdowns in this one. Stevenson is kind of a bright spot here for the New England Patriots. He has 76 yards, 2 touchdowns on 19 carries. So they found a running game with Stevenson. If you're in a fantasy league, I mean, you have Stevenson, you're golden. He's been absolutely killing it for you. And Devontae Parker, 64 yards receiving in this one. But yeah, I mean, the big story here is I think what everyone is thinking about, Zappy is getting some love here in New England. Now, obviously, rookie quarterback. I mean, you have a couple young quarterbacks there. So which way do you go? I mean, honestly, I kind of like the way Zappy's playing. I like the way he's been playing. He has a little bit, in a weird way, more excitement. I don't know if excitement's the right word, but Mac Jones just has it feels more boring, But, Mac Jones has won some games. He's been fine, but it's just, he's boring. Like, he's just not as exciting to watch as I think Zappy brings a little bit more flair to this New England Patriots team than boring Mac Jones. So I think there is something to be said about a quarterback controversy here. Either way.
By controversy, both these guys aren't the dude. So,
well, true. Yeah, I mean, it's not maybe the long term as of right now. We don't know what Zappy is. I mean, he's only had a short.
Well, and Mac Jones is in his second year, and he was a first round pick. So they're going to give him opportunities, but ultimately not good enough at quarterback, in my opinion.
Myles Garrett became the Browns' career sack leader with 62.5 when he stripped the ball from Zappy in the first quarter, but later had to leave the game with an injury. So he is still, on and off when it comes to battling, staying on the field. So that's even the tougher battle. But Yeah, there you go. So not much else to talk about this one. Let's dive into the next one here. Jets and Packers. All right. Hold on to your butts. This one is, I don't know. This one was shocking to me, especially, and I knew this. No need to talk about this game. Fire everyone next game. Milwaukee's best.
It was not that shocking to me.
You weren't as shocked, but I mean, you had to have been shocked a little bit with how this game,
like the score,
maybe, yeah, the score.
Yeah, but there was like special teams miscues that made it more misaligned than you would think. Both offenses struggled mightily in this game.
The Jets go into Lambeau and leave with the win, which is crazy in itself. They improved to 3-0 on the road for the first time since 2010. That season was also the last time the Jets made the playoffs. Do the Jets make the playoffs this year? Is this the first time in 2010 the Jets might get a wild card into the playoffs? Who knows? But this was kind of a crazy one. I think I remember you saying something on Wednesday's show about this game being closer.
I didn't like this game for the Packers at all. I just don't like the Packers right now. And I thought the Jets were playing at least decent ball.
Yeah, and this one, I mean, Aaron Rodgers did not have a good game. 246 yards, 1 touchdown. No, I mean, he didn't turn over the ball really, but at the same time, didn't put up a lot of points on the board either. Zach Wilson didn't throw a touchdown or an interception. Only 110 yards. Breece Hall was kind of the star here. 116 yards on the ground, 1 touchdown. Braxton Berrios, 20 yards, 1 touchdown. So got it done on the ground, and just Green Bay could not get anything going. There were some boo birds in Green Bay when the Jets were going up in this one. I think the third quarter is when the floodgates kind of unleashed for the Jets, when they scored 14 in the third quarter, and then they shut out the Packers 10-0 in the fourth quarter. And then you mentioned Aaron Rodgers' body language just wasn't, he was just like, like nonchalant, like whatever kind of vibes. I don't know, man. The Packers 3-3 on the season. It's not looking as good as probably people thought, especially this loss against the Jets, who are now 4-2. Surprise. The two New York teams are absolutely defying the odds with what they're doing so far.
Yeah, I mean, New York has to be thrilled with the two teams there you could argue those two franchises have been the worst in football over the past, I mean, you'd throw Detroit in there probably. Sorry, Chairman. Over the past 5 years at least. But 5-1 and 4-2, doesn't matter how you get it done. There was a lot of special teams in this one. I think there were 2 block punts. 1 block punt returned for a touchdown for the Jets.
All sorts
and
of
I believe another block punt as well. It was a block field goal early on. Maybe a block field goal and a block punt. Either way, the special teams for the Packers continues to be a disaster. There's, the Jets, did they look, Zach Wilson did his best Cooper Rush impression today. He just, threw for 110 yards, didn't do anything crazy. They only let him throw it 18 times compared to Rodgers, who threw it for 41 times. Average the same amount per attempt on those, but Rodgers got sacked 4 times. It just doesn't look thrilled. It's a bad situation in Green Bay right now. This team has not had a difficult schedule, and to be 3-3 with where they're at and who they've played is got to be monumentally disappointing. And there were rumors coming into this week out there that this is going to be Rodgers' last year, and he just looks disinterested, Chris. He looks kind of like he's just over it at this point. Like, I'm not here to rebuild with these new wide receivers and this team, and I'm done.
Yeah, it feels like he's already gotten to the point where he's just like, you know what? This is too much work. This is too much work for me to coach these guys up. I'm good. These guys are a work in progress. It's too much for me to handle. So I don't know what else to do here. And I think that's the vibe I get too. And Sauce Gardner, by the way, at the end of this game, threw on the cheese head, was running around, got it knocked off by Lazard in the tunnel. So, it was just when the Packers have lost to the Giants and the Jets in back-to-back weeks. And it's just like, it's such an interesting, I would have never thought that would be something that I would anticipate coming into the season. But right now, moving forward, the Jets at Denver next Sunday. So, that's
dub.
That we'll see if that's a dub or not. I don't know. You think it'll be a dub for the Jets? I don't know. Denver's defense, if our special teams isn't going to be that bad. So hopefully we can just limit. If we limit Zach Wilson to 100 yards, that's fine. Packers at Washington. All right, Packers fans, you need to beat Washington. Like, that has to happen. So if you don't beat Washington, I think Aaron Rodgers quits on the spot. Like, that's gonna be one that you need. Milwaukee's is like, skip this game. I've heard enough. Stop talking. LOL. Wilson didn't complete a pass for more than 10 yards, and we got our asses kicked.
Yep. But his average yards per attempt was actually 6.1 compared to Rodgers' 6.0 in this game. So he was slightly more effective. And by the way, both those numbers are awful.
JK, he's definitely got one foot out the door. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yep.
I mean, the Jets and the Giants, all of a sudden, I'm on New York alert watching some of these games because realistically, they've been playing good football of late. Well, good football.
I would like to bet the Jets to not make the playoffs right now. I would actually put a small bet on the Giants, depending on odds too. I think both could miss the playoffs though.
I mean, the Giants.
Although the Giants, the NFC is like, it's a tough, no one wants to win games there. So
tough division there.
The Giants could literally lose 4 straight, and it wouldn't shock me.
Yeah. Let's see.
Offense. And the Jets could lose 8 straight, and it wouldn't shock me.
Yeah. Still,
except they get the Broncos next week. So after that,
they'll start their losing streak with the Broncos. That's fine. One shocker game. Well, maybe not shocker. I guess the Falcons have proven to be worthy opponents, and they have been very dynamic offensively. Mariota had a pretty insane game when it came to just moving the ball with his feet and just getting this team up and down the field. So Falcons come in and take down the 49ers at home, 28-14. This game wasn't really close, Scotty. I mean, the Falcons came out fast in this one, and I mean, the 49ers never really had a shot. Going into this one, I mean, Atlanta was winning 14-0 after one. San Francisco kind of made a comeback in the second quarter, but then were shut out in the second half. They didn't score a single point in the second half. That's Jimmy G. That's Kyle Shanahan's offense. Now, they are missing a lot of guys on the defensive end, right? Bosa's out, and they have some guys in the secondary that are out. But still, I mean, the fact that they weren't able to muster much offensively, maybe this is starting to be a situation where they are missing Trent Williams on the offensive line a little bit. Maybe that extra time gives Jimmy G. I don't know. But either way, Mariota accounts for 3 touchdowns in this one total, 2 throwing, 1 running, 129 yards, 13 for 14. Didn't throw the ball that much in this one either, but it's enough to get the win against a good San Francisco team who is now 3-3, thinking we thought they were going to be, I think they still are one of the better teams to move forward, but they need to get healthy, first of all, and second of all, I don't know. This one's kind of a game that kind of knocks me back. And again, the NFC is wide open again. Like, we just keep saying it. Every time we get excited about one team in the NFC, they get knocked off.
Yeah, I mean, listen, San Fran had a ton of injuries, especially on defense, that made Atlanta's offense look. I mean, literally, Atlanta's offense was the lamest of the lame today, and San Fran didn't have a huge answer for it. 13 of 14 for Mariota, 129 and 2 touchdowns. And then they ran the ball with dudes you literally haven't heard of. Caleb Huntley, Tyler Algier, I know he's a rookie. Mariota had 50 yards rushing. They ran for 168 on the ground. They dominated there with, San Fran couldn't get their rushing game going. Jimmy with 2 picks. It just... literally, Chris, there was a fumble recovery for a touchdown that got him up 14-0 early, and then San Fran rebutted and tied it up at 14, and I was like, all right, San Fran's going to, take over now. And then nothing. Literally nothing. It was ugly from San Fran. They're beat up. They're injured, especially on defense. I don't know the full extent of who and what is injured and how long. I know they play my Chiefs next week, Chris. I know that. So we'll see what happens there, but not a great loss. And the Falcons get to Falcons could have they're 3-3 and could be far better than that, quite frankly. They lost a couple that they could have won. Maybe they're weirdly good. I don't get it. I don't know how. I don't know why. They make zero sense, but maybe somehow they're pretty good.
I mean, they've
or not terrible.
Losses against the Saints by 1.
They choked that. They were up huge in that game in the fourth.
They lost to the Rams 31-27, close one.
They had a chance to win late and threw a pick at the goal line.
They lost to the Buccaneers 21-15.
The roughing the passer on Brady.
Yep. And then the wins against Seahawks was a 4-point win. The Browns was a 3-point win, and the Niners was handle pretty handily win for them there. So yeah.
I mean they've been competitive in every single game.
My homeboy TV 6-0 against the spread though. There we go, Mahomes.
Yeah, I mean,
hey, my homeboy, how we doing? Welcome in, first time chatter. Let's welcome in my homeboy to the chat.
What's up, my homeboy? I hope you're my boy.
Are you a Chiefs fan, my homeboy? I hope you. I mean, if you are, you're at home. You have another fellow Chiefs fan here. Let us know where you're from and who your team is. Appreciate you popping in. Yes, sir. There you go. Let's go. Yeah,
let's
Chiefs,
beat up on these Niners next week.
I mean, I think whatever this line is, I think I like your Kansas City Chiefs, Scotty. I think that they're going to be in a good spot here against San Francisco, especially off this bounce back win from the Bills. I think that's doable. So. Yeah, guys, if you guys are here, hit that follow button if you have not already. It means a lot, and when we go live each and every single Wednesday and Sunday. So let's get some more Shaq Shimmies. Hit that follow button, just like my homeboy did. Let's go.
Let's go. Thank you, my homeboy.
It's all
for a little Shaq Shimmy follow there.
He's taking out all the next week in Santa Clara, all the frustrations. Yeah. There you go. So and then the Falcons. Well, let's see who
bring those fans back to Super Bowl memories.
The Falcons are at Cincinnati coming up this next week, so that actually might be a
we mentioned that. I mean, that's
fireworks game. I think. I mean, you're gonna have some scoring.
I'll be interested in no, I think it'll be low scoring.
No. Maybe I'll go head to head with you, depending on what the line is. Maybe I'll go head to head with you.
We'll see what the line is, but I'll probably take the under in it.
All right, so we got a lot of Steelers fans in the chat. We got a lot of Steelers fans all popping in tonight, Scotty. We had Rec, Devil Dog, and then you had a bunch of people popping in, being fan followers of the channel now and throwing out their fandom. So you were hardcore on the Steelers, and they let you down. Plus 14 a couple weeks ago. Mm-hmm. Coming into this one, last week. And coming into this one, you're like, man, how bad are the Steelers? They're really bad. But then there was a bounce back. There was all this stuff with Tomlin and the news, whether or not he should be the head coach. There was all this news of Kenny Pickett and that offense and the who's running the plays and the bad play calling, this and that. And then all of a sudden you got an 8-point. Hey, gaming with Goose, let's go.
Let's go.
Popping in with that follow. Appreciate you. Thank you for that love. Thank you for the follow. Now, I mean, I didn't know where to go, and I wasn't shocked to see them cover this spread. I didn't touch this game we talked a lot about this. I was too scared. And the Steelers end up just winning this one outright. Tom Brady not looking great in this one. He was berating his offensive lineman. He was yelling at that's what he does now. He's old and he gets angry. He's like, get off my lawn, guy, is pretty much what Brady is. He's get off my lawn, guy, when things don't go right. And here we are. They lose in Pittsburgh to the Steelers, which the Steelers mustering up a win after all of the craziness happening in the media and everything else. Scotty, what did you think of this one?
I mean, this game was bizarre in general. I wanted to pull the trigger on the Steelers again with plus money, but after plus points, but after last week, I couldn't do it. You get after that. Spam code yell in the chat as Chris takes a quick break here. QB controversy again in Pittsburgh. Mitch Trubisky comes in and saves the day. 9-12, 144. Kenny Pickett was only 11 of 18 for 67. Kind of struggled a little bit. Goes out with a concussion on a play that didn't seem like there was a lot of head contact. It was actually kind of bizarre that it was called a concussion to me. I didn't see a lot of contact with the head on that play. But might as well go with Mitch because he's just better than Kenny Pickett. If you're Tom Brady, let's talk about Tom Brady. Tom Brady throws the ball into the ground all the time. He blames his offensive line. His running game is, to be fair, non-existent. I mean, Leonard Fournette had 21 carries for 63 yards. You have Mike Evans on your team, right? You throw the ball 40 times and you target Mike Evans 4 times. 4 of your 40 throws targeted Mike Evans today. And by the way, he caught all 4 for 42 yards. So who are we blaming? How do you only target Mike Evans 4 times on 40 throws if you're Tom Brady? And you love Godwin. He targeted him 12 times. He caught it 6 for 95. That's great. But literally, how are you only throwing the ball 4 times to Mike Evans on 40 attempts? That blows my mind. This dude is an angry dude. This dude is miserable out there. I think he's certainly done with Tampa. There's 0% chance I think Tom Brady will play another down in Tampa after this season. Whether he calls it a career or not, we'll see. Now that he's opened up and
he could do
there's
no
marriage situation there. He can play as long as he wants, and he would maybe do it for another team, but he's not doing it in Tampa next year. There's no chance. And quite frankly, these players probably don't want him back because he's an asshole, Chris. In this stage of his career, there's no one to blame except for everyone else. It seems like on the sideline.
I mean, 2 guys, we talked about it with Rodgers and Brady. Last week he was throwing tablets all over the sidelines. This week, he's yelling at the referees. He's yelling at his offensive linemen during the middle of a game, saying you guys need to be better, using specific language on how he accentuates some of those demands. I mean, he's just he's not happy. He's not having fun on the field. He's definitely not, I don't know if that's translating to the side life is translating to his football life. I mean, I think he's trying to separate that, but psychologically, man, he's angry. He's an angry dude. So his head bounced off the field. OG Kush, what's up, OG Kush? How we doing, man? OG YOLO, how we doing? It's honestly sad to watch this version of Brady. I wish we would have just rode off into the sunset last year. So yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. I mean,
so does Giselle. If you're on Team Giselle, you're right there with her. OG Steelers D played great. The Steelers D was without 6 starters,
which is weird, right?
Literally, our mod Rec, who's a huge Steelers fan, posted on our Discord the other day, being bet all your money on the Bucks because the Steelers were without most of their secondary. Cam Hayward, or maybe not Cam Hayward, but a lot of their D line, just everyone was out.
By the way, join our Discord.
While they played all right, was it the Steelers? Was it Was it the Bucks? I don't know.
Let's see. Yeah, Edmonds was our only healthy starter today. Too bad reality hitting him when you can't have what you want.
I mean, they were without the defensive player of the year from last year in TJ Watt, and this year's defensive player of the year, according to Rec, in Minka Fitzpatrick. So, like, I don't even know how they were able to even field a team on defense with the Steelers.
They were piecemealing it together. That's why I was like, man, going into this, when I was like, man, Bucks should have a feast day on this defense that's not as dynamic with all these missing players. Minka Fitzpatrick, Pat Fryermuth, Cam Sutton, Levi Wallace, and Witherspoon. I'm not even going to try. Wide receiver Calvin Austin. I mean, it goes on and on. TJ Watt. By the way, when they, I mean, I'm just going to let it go. You can count that. I'll give it to you. Bucks have won ball games, but have looked flat, says OG.
Yeah, I mean, the offense has not clicked in Tampa this year.
Akello. There you go. So there you go. But so takeaways here for the Steelers. I mean, they're gonna be. I mean, Mike Tomlin and that team. I mean, they're still not.
Chairman will say, "Yeah, people will still complain about Tomlin."
Yeah, it's true. Pretty much.
Tomlin, without all his players, wins the game that he has no business winning. And oh, by the way, his starting quarterback goes out mid-game with a concussion. And these actually, part of me thinks the Steeler fans are more upset that they won this week because they want to hate Tomlin so much, Chris. Literally, Steelers fans want to remove Tomlin so badly that they probably wish they would have lost by 100 this week.
Yeah.
And instead they won because Tomlin did what he does and wins games he has no business doing.
Roger.
I'm just saying, Steelers fans appreciate it.
And Rec in the chat, I'll give Tomlin this week. Not going to bitch about him this week. See? There you go. Rec. There you go, Rec. I don't want to hate Tomlin. I'm more shocked. Exactly how they try to complain about the weather and what people wear and what they look. Yeah. So cooking mile. Yeah. It's just like, I feel like there's just so much people jump to the conclusions with Tomlin and stuff. And, you know,
Steelers fans
I'm not going to lie.
Spoiled. They're spoiled.
I was talking to Scotty yesterday. We were all together and I was like, man, did you see, and I hit you up on the side. Did you see all of the Twitter people out there? Like Twitter in Pittsburgh was just like, get this guy out of here. He's trash. I can't stand him. He's overrated, this and that. But like, man, oof. He helped himself this week. Let's just put it that way. Takeaways from the Bucks. They're exactly where I kind of thought they were going to be. Maybe not this bad, but like, you know me, we both didn't have the Bucks making the NFC Championship game.
But this doesn't even look like a playoff team right now.
No, they don't look as good as we would have ever expected.
You can't lose to the Steelers team.
Yeah,
I mean, they were, I think, the second biggest favorite of the week outside of, I think, the Rams at home against the Panthers. And they were on the road against a team that literally lost by 1,000,000 points to the Bills last week and are more injured this week, like more beat up, and you can't get it done. Like, the Bucks are in trouble, Chris. Bucks are in a world of hurt.
I mean,
we'll see if they turn it around, but these are a lot of vets that are used to winning and probably aren't the type that like want to try and bounce back and salvage like a mediocre season. They're kind of like probably all yelling at each other in the locker room and hating on each other, and
it's a bad.
I bet that locker room is miserable right now. I mean, in Tampa.
Don't look, but Atlanta's playing good football, so keep an eye on Atlanta giving the Bucks a run for their money down the stretch. Now,
the good news for Tampa is you're right. Atlanta's right there. But the NFC South is garbage.
There are a lot of rough teams. Steelers, great organization. They're fine, says OG. You think Brady would pass the ball 50 times against practice squad secondary, says Rec. Casually, for all the talk, name a clearly better head coach candidate that would be available this year or next offseason, says.
And do it. No, I have one guy. Hackett.
I knew
Hackett's
you were
probably
gonna
going to be
go.
available.
I knew you
He's
were gonna.
probably going to be available, and he would be dynamite.
Oh my goodness! I had a feeling you were gonna go. I was waiting for it, and there was like the minute you said there was one guy, and I was like, oh,
Hackett's your dude.
Come on, man. Come on, man. Yeah, you're right. See, I knew it. You're just baiting me. It's a trap.
It's a trap.
Let's see. Hackett might be available next week. You're wrong, Scotty. See? We somehow are 2-4, and the division leaders are 3-3. I don't think the AFC North would look like this, said Devil Doc. I mean, yeah.
I mean, I think the Ravens are clearly still the best team in the AFC North. They just hate themselves and hate winning, apparently.
Should we skip this game?
I feel like we all feel like Justin Fields in this picture, Chris.
We all feel like Justin Fields. Yeah. I mean, we're just like, come on, man. Thursday night football again. Commanders and Bears. The Bears, what a letdown that was, by the way. I mean, the Bears had a chance against Carson Wentz looked like trash. I mean, oh my goodness.
Look at this dude.
Yeah, I'm telling you. It's oh my gosh, this game. Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about ineptitude in Denver on offense. The Bears had 3 possessions inside the 10 in this game, Chris, and came away with 0 points on those 3 possessions.
Like muffed punt, there's some weird things that happened in this one, but like this was just a slow. I mean, Thursday night football has been rough, and I think there might be another rough one coming up this Thursday as well. But I digress. This one, Carson Wentz had 99 yards passing. 99. 12 for 22. Justin Fields, 190 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. So, nothing to write home about there. These two teams, both 2-4 at this point. I mean, this game was 3-0 going into halftime. Like, come on, man.
So, by the way, Carson Wentz fractured his ring finger, it sounds like, in this one.
Get him out.
So he could be out. Is that good or bad if you're Washington? Washington will probably blow it. They should play their rookie Sam Howell, but they also still have who's their other dude that played last year? Drawing a blank on. They'll probably play that guy for no reason. If you're Washington, just play Sam Howell for the love of everything.
Tyler Heineke.
Heineke. Play Howell. Heineke's whatever. He's whatever. But this game in general, Chris, was kind of what we all thought it was going to be. Like, literally, people were hating on this game while talking about the Denver game as it was going on the week before against Indy. They were like, oh, at least we have next Thursday to look forward to. And then they're like, check schedule. Nope. Washington and Chicago. Son of a bitch. These last 2 back-to-back Thursday games have been probably the worst back-to-back Thursday games we've ever seen, Chris. I like, someone find me a worse back-to-back Thursday game. Now we have Saints. Who do we have? Saints who?
So we had the Saints and the Cards.
Which is the love of all that is.
So we're not going to have any scoring from the Cardinals because they can't do anything on offensively, even with their high price quarterback. And then the Saints can't even figure out who's running the offense and quarterback. They don't have nobody to throw to because nobody's ever healthy. So you're just going to have just another trash Thursday night football game moving forward. It's going to be...
Yep.
I'll take the under, Alex, for 200. Are we playing Jeopardy now?
Well, if it's under 200, I'll take that. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we'll all take it. Joke. Yeah, no, I liked it. He broke his finger. Go figure. Let's see what else.
Hopkins does come back, but it's a short week. He hasn't. I don't think he's been able to practice with the team. It's like, and you're losing Hollywood Browns. You're replacing Hopkins on a short week, and maybe that'll help Arizona. Like, maybe if they game plan less than they already do, which is almost seems like 0, they'll be better off some weird way, Chris. But
Hauser in the chat. Bears still don't know how to properly scheme plays for Justin Fields to use his skills in the best way. I mean,
I remember when Matt Nagy was the only person to blame here, Chris. Matt Nagy was literally the only person.
The villain.
He was the scapegoat. He was the villain. It was all his fault. Once you get him out, Justin Fields is going to thrive. And guess what? Justin Fields might be worse this year than last year. So save me the breath on Nagy, who, by the way, had a winning record in Chicago with teams that weren't great. So save me that. Maybe it's... Well, I still think it's play calling, and the offensive line is a dumpster fire. The offensive line is the worst in the league, and it's not close. So I'm not ready to count out Fields completely, but you're putting him on a David Carr path where he can never recover because he just is literally seeing people hitting him in 2 seconds after he gets the ball.
What's weird is Carson Wentz is 7-0 on Thursday night football games. The rest of the week, 39, 44, and 1. So he's let's just say he just somehow finds ways to win. But speaking of that offensive line,
how does he have a winning record overall? That's surprising. He had that one sweet year where they won the Super Bowl without him.
Yeah, it's kind of I guess that makes sense. Yep. Justin Fields, you were mentioning the offensive line was pressured 18 times, tied for the most in a game in his career. Fields now has been pressured on 46% of his dropbacks. Think about that. Half of his dropbacks, he's getting pressured. It's the highest rate of pressure on a quarterback is faced in the first 6 games of a season since ESPN began tracking pressures in 2009. So, when you say it's historically bad, it's trash bad. Historically. Real bad. So,
yep,
he's running for his life each and every play, which means you can't ever count on the Bears to do much offensively if he's getting that much pressure. So he's anti-Kirk Cousins, says Chairman. Devil Doc, good point. That should legit make a difference. Just know, Hopkins comes back week 7. Indeed, Hopkins,
we'll see Hopkins, who hasn't played in almost a year because he was injured the second half of last season.
Yeah.
So let's pump the brakes. I have Hopkins sitting on my bench on a fantasy team ready to ride, but I don't know if this Thursday is going to be the day to be he's going to just blow up.
All right, so let's get into our picks of the week. We're going to wrap this thing up with picks of the week, and we'll get into all of our rankings and everything. I think coming Wednesday, we'll do all of our actually, we might be able to have some time for that. Oh, it's 11. No, I'll wait till everyone's back in the chat. I think we have a lot of people that want to check back in when we have our Wednesday show. So let me update this, Scotty, because the Dallas did not. They didn't.
Cover. They came back and it was right there, and then they disappointed me.
They disappointed you. So Destroy on site, what's going on? How we doing, Destroy? How was your Sunday? Hope you had a great week 6 of the NFL season and just a Sunday in general weekend. Let's go. So you're all wrapped up. You're 14-10 on the year. And I have one more to go. I'm right 13-9-1 with the under 45.5 in Denver Chargers. So I still feel good about that. I feel like the Denver Broncos D will be pretty good, and I don't think Denver will score any points. So it lends itself to the under. If
we'll see. I think that we'll see.
Do you think otherwise on that? Monday Night Football tomorrow night.
Not necessarily. I think the Chargers are the best offense Denver's faced this year. And so we'll see, I know the Raiders were the second best, and they were able to move the ball and score a decent amount of points. So we'll see. I mean, the Denver D is good, but the Chargers defense is also not very good. So maybe Denver has a coming out party.
Oh.
Chairman says Chargers 46, Denver 0.
to cover that spread there. Yeah, maybe. I mean, if Denver doesn't score anything, then Chargers are going to have to do some heavy lifting, and I don't think the Chargers will ever put up 46 on Denver.